One thing I've wanted to do for a really long time is paint the living room. You have seen a little bit of it in some other videos. The walls are brown. And it always bothered me, and I wanted to paint it as soon as I moved in here exactly a year ago this month. But for various reasons, I didn't get it painted. I didn't paint it myself. I didn't have the energy to paint it myself. And then earlier this year, I asked a friend who's a contractor if they could help me, and he was going to, but then ended up having an injury and now can't. And so the last couple weeks, I've just been like, okay, what do I do? But yesterday, I had this flash of inspiration, and I actually think this bouquet of flowers has something to do with it, because I bought this bouquet yesterday. Plants have energy, and flowers in particular. I have a friend she runs this flower company, and she really believes that different flowers bring out different essences in us. They kind of help us and guide us. And so normally I want white flowers because they feel very clear, and normally yellow is way too bright for me, but I don't know, it was speaking to me, so I got it. And this was the reason I wanted to paint that room. Being in that brown box, I can feel limits my creativity. It's literally like being in a cardboard box. That's what it feels like. So yesterday evening I was like, hey, it's the beginning of June now. If I don't do something about this room, I'm gonna go through the whole summer with it brown. And that's very dangerous because I know it's going to limit my creativity. All because I haven't gone through the hassle of getting this room painted. So in a flash of inspiration, I went out, bought paint, got a kit, and decided that the next day I would paint until I was done. In many ways, it's symbolic that I ended up being the one to paint this room. It's a good sign, I think, because it means that I've finally stopped overworking enough to have headspace and heart space to do personal things. Because so much of my work is with ideas and with a computer or with a camera, it's so cathartic to actually do something with my hands and to see the result in real life, not just on a computer. But I also knew that because I'm not used to doing this much manual labor, this would feel like a lot of work. And it was. Coat number 1 is done. I also reflected on why I knew that I could do this in a day. Last year, I painted the living room and the kitchen cabinets of the last place that I lived. And so last year, my parents helped me paint the living room, but that was also so much work for them that they said they wouldn't help me paint anymore. So I did the kitchen cabinets of that other house by myself. And so this time I knew that I could do this by myself. I knew it wouldn't be perfect, but I could get it done. This is after the second coat. It's already looking way better. And it's really amazing to think that these little steps forward we take give us confidence for things that come next. I'm done! It feels so much brighter in here. Tomorrow I'm gonna put the finishing touches. I've got a little extra paint, thank goodness. So I'm going to make sure that everything's as even as possible. I'm so tired. I started at 8 and it's now 8. But I'm so glad that I did this. I can't wait to set myself back up in here and feel what it feels like to edit and create in this space. Originally, I didn't paint the trims, but I woke up the next morning and all I could think about was the trim. It's this pale yellow that looks old against the brand new white. So I spent the next day painting the trim, and now it feels complete. I drank a little too much coffee, and so I still had energy at night, so I started to put the room back together. Ever since I got a bigger monitor for editing, my desk, which is normally quite big, feels small. So I tried this plastic desk to see if I could extend it, but it didn't feel right. After seeing the living room white, it felt so good. I'm definitely contemplating painting the rest of the house white, but I'll consider that another day. Today I had a meeting with our teams and I've been doing a lot of thinking around what am I really here for? What am I supposed to be creating? I am extremely blessed to have the role that I have because I get to completely chart the territory of the creative content for Experience Niagara, which for someone like me is a dream. And with that also comes responsibility, and I also get to completely create my work schedule. There's nowhere in particular I have to show up. Like, I'll go to places for meetings and I'll come up with projects and I'll execute them. But all the things that used to hold me back at a regular job, you know, even something as simple as like showing face, like having to show up to an office to make it just so that my boss, even when my boss trusted me, we had to make sure that like Anita showed up to work at least a few days a week so it looked like she was still doing work. Like, I don't have to do any of that posturing. The focus is just like, we trust you, we trust in your ability, so just run free and create the best work that you can, because there's a trust that I just will. And so for someone like me, that is so liberating, and it just like unlocks all of my creative energy. And so yeah, I've been thinking a lot about like, what am I really here for? And as you heard in my last vlog, I honestly was so convinced I needed to rest. I was so tired. I was like starting to plan a vacation at the end of June. And then after that day with the hike, I ended up spending a lot of this week letting go of that idea. I canceled the vacation that I had started to put into my Google Calendar, and I was like, no, I'm gonna stay here, and what am I gonna make then? And I have a feeling that I am just going to let it rip and create a whole bunch of really beautiful, I hope inspiring, life-giving, encouraging, just uplifting content this summer. One thing I've been craving ever since I first made this wall-sized Gantt chart is more space to record my thinking. My ideas come to me from all angles, and it just feels like chaos unless I write them down. Then I'm able to read over what I've been thinking and see how the pieces fit together. There's light! Oh my gosh, it feels so different. So I also really wanted to paint the wall white so that I could use it as a big blank canvas. But recently I discovered something new. If I write my ideas on chart paper, I'm able to fit more. Plus, I can lay the paper side by side and look at everything together. When I have energy, I stick things up on the wall and I like to be standing and thinking. But because I'm tired now from painting, I did it on the floor. It feels so nice to be in this white room with a white canvas and a white paper, thinking through the season ahead. A few final thoughts on white. I feel like in our society, white has almost become a status symbol. White houses, white shoes, white walls, white Starbucks cups. But for me, I just find that white is calming, and there's so much going on in my head that when I'm in a white space, my brain doesn't get more stimulated. It's able to quiet down and rest. So let's see what happens now that I can work in a white room. Every time I'm about to sit down and edit a video, I feel these butterflies in my stomach, like, can I do this? What's about to happen? And I feel nervous. That's exactly how I feel right now, but the only way just is to have faith, knowing that I've done it before. I've done it a few times now, and once I get going, it's going to be okay. So here we go. This is the raspberry bush that is right behind the house. And in a few short weeks, we are going to have raspberries.